All right, so you spent the whole day out shooting. Maybe you're making a short film, or you were doing a vlog, or maybe you did a studio shoot, a talking head, whatever it is. You get all your clips into the computer, everything looks great, you hit play, and the audio sounds terrible. The audio is either really boomy, or maybe it's really harsh and hard to listen to, or there's a lot of background noise. Something is wrong, but you're like, you know what? I got this. Whenever there's a problem with video, I just pull up a plugin, I take a look at it. So let's just go grab an audio plugin, and what the that's me. I don't even, what is that? All right, pull it back. It's not nearly as confusing as it looks. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to fix common audio problems with nothing but an EQ plugin right now. Hey, my name is Brian Miller, magician and motivational speaker, and welcome to Behind the Magic, where we do inspiration, tips, and tutorials for creative people like you and me. And in this video, we're talking about how to use basic EQ to fix common audio problems. Now, as a video creator, you may not be familiar with the audio stuff. It's a completely different discipline. But the thing is, and you know this, people will forgive bad video quality as long as they can understand clearly what the person is saying. But we never forgive bad audio. All right, so I'm gonna take you through the basics of audio real quick because you can't fix the problem unless you can identify what the problem is. So you are going to need to learn to listen properly to hear what the problem is so that you can make the changes. It's really important. I can't help you if you can't identify what the problem is. There are two different things, and I'm gonna use like layman's terms. I'm not gonna use like technical audio terms here. There's basically two different things that you're looking for. Frequency, which is basically the pitch from very low to very high. And you're also looking at volume. So when I say pitch, we talk about frequency, which is measured in hertz. When we're talking about volume, we're talking about quiet and loud, which is measured in decibels. We're not dealing with decibels in this video, we're only dealing with frequencies. So from your left to your right, there's low frequencies, all the way up to high frequencies, and everything in between. Now, every audio source in the real world has a range of frequencies. So even though my voice is pretty deep, you would think it would just exist in the low end of the frequencies, but it doesn't. There's a lot of low frequencies, but there's also mid-range and there's also high frequencies. All of these frequencies make up any particular audio source in the real world. My hair, I got my hair cut earlier, and it's a little unwieldy the first day that I get it. It's all over. I feel like a clown right now. I feel like Krusty the Clown a little bit. So you're familiar with the terms bass, mids, and treble, probably from your car's stereo. And that's basically the three major sections of the frequency spectrum that we're looking at. The bass corresponds to the low frequencies, the mids are the frequencies in the middle of the spectrum, and the treble are the high frequencies. So I'm gonna give you a few words that you might use to describe what the problem is so that you can quickly identify if the problem area is in the low, the middle, or the high range frequencies. We might describe low frequencies or bass frequencies as boomy or dark. We might describe middle range frequencies as muddy. And we might describe treble or high range frequencies as bright or harsh. And so when you're listening and you hear that there's a problem in your audio, think, is it dark? Is it boomy? Is it muddy? Is it harsh? Is it bright? And by using those terms, you'll start to be able to identify what spot of the frequency spectrum the problem is in. The good news is once you've identified it, it's gonna be relatively simple not to fix it completely, because of course the only way to fix audio problems is to avoid having them at all. Just like video, it's all about getting the audio correct when you record it, getting it right at the source. But that's not what this video is about. If you want videos about how to make sure you're getting your audio right at the source, click here, check out the links in the description. I've done a bunch of videos on audio, particularly about using portable audio recorders so that you get the cleanest audio at the source. But even when you do everything right, and even if you know what you're doing, especially if you're a vlogger and you're just out there running and gunning, you're gonna have problems, and there's some things that we can do to fix them or at least make them significantly better once we get into our software. So we're gonna look at two clips, two examples in this video to show you different problems you might encounter and how you would go about fixing them. There's one rule of thumb that we're gonna stick to for the purpose of this video. We're going to use subtractive EQ. EQ stands for equalization. So the idea is we're going to find the offending frequency and pull it out or subtract it to balance the audio. All right, we're gonna take a look at our first clip, but of course what you're doing is you're listening. So let me throw a loop on here so you can listen to it a couple of times. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's going to be some scattered. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's going to be some scattered. All right, I don't want to have to listen to myself too many times. So what you're listening for there, and you can replay that, of course, on the video that you're watching right now. What you're probably hearing, hopefully you're hearing, is that there's a rumble going on. Now it started to drizzle. There's a rumble from the road because we're driving. We're in a car and there's a lot of road noise. Well, road noise, a lot of the road noise comes from low frequencies. It's the sound of the road at high speeds, of the wind, of the tires against the pavement. They're really low frequencies. That's why I'm using the word rumble. So watch what happens when I take out the low frequencies. All right, so our clip is selected. I've got our audio tab up over here, and I'm going to head down to our effects. Anything that I show you in Final Cut, you can do all this stuff in Premiere or anything else you're using. All the basic tools are built in. I'm not using paid plugins. I'm gonna use everything right out of the software. Come down here to your audio, click EQ, and the first thing you'll see up here is channel EQ. Drag that onto your clip. All right, right here is where it shows up. So click this to open up your EQ plugin, and this is what we're looking at, which looks very confusing, very scary, but it's not. What you're looking at here is 20 hertz all the way up to 20 kilohertz. These are your low frequencies down here. These are your high frequencies up here. Your middle frequencies are in the middle. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of our low frequencies. The easiest way to do that is to click this button right here, which enables this big cut that we can now drag. What that's doing is it's cutting out everything to the left of this slope. Let me put the audio on a loop, and I'm gonna drag this around so you can hear how big a difference it makes. All right, let me just put this back over here. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's gonna be some scattered. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's gonna be some scattered. Can you hear how big a difference it makes when you scoop that thing all the way from the left to the right? Because you're completely getting rid of the low frequencies, and then you're getting rid of the middle frequencies, and then you're getting rid of the high frequencies, and then it's gone if you went all the way up. So I'm going to take this right about, let's do 100 hertz. Let's just see how that is. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's gonna be some scattered. So it's interesting, there's obviously still road noise, right? You're not gonna get rid of it completely because the microphone, as you can tell, was not on me while I was talking. It's actually sitting up on the dashboard, so it's a little bit further away from me. You're not gonna completely get rid of the road noise. The best way to have gotten rid of that road noise would have been to be wearing a lapel mic or have a mic, you know, like taped to the ceiling of the car just over my head. The closer you are to the microphone, the better you have a chance at isolating the audio. But the mic is sitting away from me, I'm vlogging, and so I'm just trying to make the road noise less prominent. So listen to the difference now between, I'm gonna play it once without this EQ, and I'm gonna play it once with the EQ. Huge difference. But now you need to be listening in earbuds or headphones to hear this. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's gonna be some scattered. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's gonna be some scattered. I hope you can hear how big a difference it makes. Look at all that. You can actually visually see the difference with the EQ on. It totally cleans up the audio. So that's one way to deal with the audio, is to use your channel EQ and to find the spot that you need to take care of and get rid of it. Now, Final Cut gives you another way to deal with it, which is they have all these built-in plugins. And look at, one of these here is called Less Bass. So let's take a listen to what the Less Bass plugin does if we throw it on. So here it is without the Less Bass. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's gonna be some scattered. Now it started to drizzle towards the end of this drive, and it looks like there's gonna be some scattered. So The less bass plugin that Final Cut has built in is terrific. It did exactly what I did with the channel EQ. The key is being able to identify that what you need to do is take the bass out of the signal, and then you can just throw your less bass plugin on from Final Cut, and you can adjust the amount, more or less, depending on what you're looking for. All right, let's take a look at one more example. What I've got here, I'm on, in this one, the G7X Mark II, in a bookstore, standing right in front of a bunch of books.
If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book. If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book.
So what do you think? There's definitely some bass frequencies in there, but also it's a little muddy. Can you hear that it's a little muddy? We're also gonna scoop out some of the middle frequencies to clean this thing up. So let's take a look. All right, throw our channel EQ on here. First thing I'm going to do, same thing we did last time, definitely bring this up to maybe in the 80, 90, 100 hertz range. But I think also we might need to take some frequencies out of the mids.
If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book.
Okay, so did you see what I just did there? I took one of my middle frequencies. We have a couple here. We've got one here, we've got one here, we've got one here. You can take it and drag it up and down. So what you want to do is you want to play the clip and you want to drag that frequency down and just slide it around until you hear that it's getting rid of the problem.
If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book. If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book. If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book.
Okay, so right about there is where we want it. Now let me show you the difference. I'm gonna play it twice.
If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book. If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book.
Huge difference getting rid of those low rumbly frequencies and scooping a little bit out of the low mids. It's in the 300 hertz section. So this is something that you're gonna train your ear to do. Now again, you could have gone down to your presets from Final Cut, and there's actually something called mud removal. Let's listen to what mud removal does.
If you're into philosophy and like rational thought and everything, this is a magnificent book.
It's very, very clever what Final Cut's done here with these presets for people. That mud removal, exactly that term I used, it's a little muddy. The mud removal did pretty much exactly what I would have done shaping the EQs. Now, of course, when you get used to using an EQ plugin, you can really carefully shape and cut little frequencies out and boost some frequencies and add this and take out that. That's all super advanced stuff. You don't need to worry about that. Now, I'm not gonna do another example here, you get the idea. If you had a clip that was like too harsh, it like had it really bright and it was like tinny or something, you'd wanna scoop out somewhere in the high range. There's actually a preset called remove high frequencies, or you could go into your channel EQ and you could scoop out some of your high frequencies, probably in the 5K to 8K range is where you'd be looking at that point. Just like video, the more times you do this, the more times you listen, the better you'll train your ear to figure out where the problem is. Well, I hope that this was helpful. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ding that notification bell, because YouTube is not telling people about small creators posting videos anymore. It's very frustrating. After 2 years on this platform, building a respectable, what I was very proud of, 5,000 subscribers, and thank you, like 5,100 I think, but thank you for everybody who subscribed. But all of a sudden, a few months ago, YouTube changed the algorithm and nobody's getting notified about small YouTube channels uploading anymore. It's very frustrating, so ding the notification bell. My name is Brian Miller, and always remember that our world is a shared experience. Have a great day.